Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be making this video because I have wanted to do a content creation tell-all for a very long time, and it has taken me a long time to really get down the basics of how to actually create content, what's the best process to create content, what schedule works for me, what are different tips and tricks that help make your content stand out against all the other different accounts and businesses out there. So this video, I'm gonna give you guys the entire rundown of my content creation process and how I go from an idea to actually thinking of that idea all the way to the very end to editing the video. So I don't want to make this intro super duper long. I just want to get straight into telling you guys exactly how to make content and how the process that I've created for myself works, and some fun tips and tricks and some interesting tools that help you make the content creation process a lot easier, because us small business owners, we have 75 different jobs in this one entrepreneurial umbrella, and sometimes we put content on the back burner. I know that I am guilty of doing that, and for the past couple of weeks, maybe the last month, I have been trying to prioritize content for my business, creating it, filming it, getting new ideas, and I have seen a good increase in my sales, my engagement, and just overall traffic to my website and social media platforms by being consistent and being consistent on a schedule that works for me. So without further ado, let's just get right into how to create content for your small business. The first thing I do when I am planning my content for the week, for the day, for the month, it really just depends on my schedule for that specific time. If I'm batching content, typically I will batch it for the week, and then I will move on and do kind of week by week. Sometimes if I have a very busy month, like typically around the holidays, I will kind of batch content ideas for the whole month and then pick from there. But the first thing I do before I even actually create any ideas is the research phase. So during this phase, I scroll around on TikTok, Instagram Reels, Pinterest sometimes, even YouTube Shorts, and I just start to kind of see what's trending among small business owners, what are some non-business trends. One really clear example was the very demure and mindful trend. Although I did not really like that trend, I thought it was kind of annoying. I'm sorry if you thought it was funny. If you do, that's great. But for me, it was so overplayed at that point. I was just annoyed. So I didn't make any content with that. But those are the types of things that I would scroll around and try to find. See things that are kind of up and coming and on the trend. And basically you just do that by scrolling around. This can be a little bit detrimental sometimes because you kind of get into like a scrolling rabbit hole. But usually what I'll do is I'll set a timer for myself, and like I'll time maybe 15-20 minutes and kind of just give myself that time to really dedicate that to research and actually finding trending sounds, trends, different audios that you could use. What are kind of the styles of videos? Like, is it more fast-paced videos or is it more long-form videos on like Reels and TikTok? So kind of just doing that, I'll kind of keep an eye out and just kind of get those things and put them in the back of my head. Sometimes I will like write them down on my phone, and sometimes if I find a really good sound and I have an idea for it, I will like record on TikTok and just record like a black screen and then type text in the caption of like my general idea. That way I don't actually lose the idea, but when I go back to kind of create my content and pick the sounds, I'll remember, oh, that's the video that I wanted to make for that. That's the first step in kind of any content creation process, like I said, whether it's content creation for the day, the week, the month. Then I go into the actual planning phase. The planning phase is when I will take my ideas, my brainstorms, my rough sketches of different video concepts, and I will further break them down into actual video concepts, whether that's short form video, long form TikTok or Reel, day in my life. Like, I will take those ideas and or trends or sounds, and I will kind of formulate them into different idea balls and be able to then kind of start building my script, my shot list, my B-roll content. What kind of video is it? Do I need to film ASMR? Does it need to be quiet? Do I need to film a bunch of clips for a day in my life? Am I doing a sit-down talking video, like a headshot video? What kind of video am I doing? What is the essence of it? And kind of try to gather all the different things that I will need. I find that this step really helps, especially when I'm trying to film multiple videos at once. I lately have been trying to batch my content when I have ideas for them. Sometimes when you batch your content and you have no ideas, those videos don't turn out to be very engaging or captivating. So I wouldn't recommend batching so so much content for like months and months on end. I would recommend kind of batching content in smaller groups because trends change. Social media is constantly changing and the types of videos that are going to be pushed out and pushed on the algorithm change all the time. And although we're not trying to only create for the algorithm, we still want our videos to be pushed out and attract the right types of people. So I would recommend kind of keeping your batching content to a smaller scale. And you don't even have to batch content. You can create one video at a time, and this process works for creating one video or multiple, but that's just kind of something to keep in mind when you were thinking about the kind of planning and research phase of the content creation process. Sometimes during this like research planning phase, I have a hard time actually thinking of any idea and actually conceptualizing any little like thing that I've found online, or I have a hard time kind of seeing how it fits with my business. For example, the very demure trend, I couldn't even think of an idea to make of it for my business, albeit I didn't really like the trend anyway. But sometimes I have a hard time thinking of how different trends and trending audios can actually fit with my business. So lately I have been using Flick's new AI social media assistant, Iris. So thank you so much to Flick for sponsoring this segment of the video. I've been using Flick for a very long time to schedule my posts and kind of use that as a secondary content planner alongside my Notion, because we all know I live by my Notion. Flick is very, very useful when it comes to kind of seeing when the right times to post are. It will kind of gather everything into a content calendar for you, and you can actually post straight from there. And you can have like hashtag groups and stuff like that. I'll link the video down below if you want to go watch the other video where I kind of go through Flick. The Iris AI social media assistant is so cool. When I was playing around with this for the first time, I was literally mind blown with all the different things that they could do. Iris helps take care of the repetitive social media task across all key areas of the social media process, like building your strategy, planning posts, writing your captions, and turning your media into ready to share content. My favorite feature that I've been using in the Iris social media assistant is the post idea brainstorming tool. I have been loving this feature because it's been helping me so much create niche specific content ideas, and that includes B-roll, headshot content, reel, short form, like literally everything you could think of. As long as you have a keyword or a few keywords that you put into the actual little brainstorm search tab and then click search, you will be able to have ready-made content ideas ready for you to kind of further develop yourself, or actually use the Iris social media assistant to actually develop those videos for you, which is so neat because you can go even further with that and actually create video scripts and the different types of clips that you'll need. The Iris assistant will actually go down and break down what you would need to kind of create this video, what kind of essence do you have to have, where do you have to be set up in your office. I think that's so cool because some of us just don't have the time to think about all these things and do all of the pre-filming prep. I love that this tool really takes that hard part away and really helps streamline this whole content creation process, because it can be very stressful, especially juggling so many different things. You don't really have time to plan. Another thing that I love about the Iris tool is that before you even create your content, they will actually learn your brand voice and how you write captions on your social media already. So they'll go in and analyze your Instagram captions, and once you go into kind of brainstorm a post in the actual content calendar, you can create like an infographic or an informational post or a promotional post, and you can create a caption for that post that sounds exactly like something that you would say / type on the caption. So I think that is so neat, especially because sometimes AI can be very scary, and it is kind of a very like, I think, taboo topic these days. People hear AI and they're like, oh my god, that's scary. But no, this AI assistant is actually so useful, and I love the fact that they tailor it to your brand voice and they're able to kind of mimic you, and it really just streamlines the whole process. Like, I love it so much, and I've played around with it so much, and I've actually had it generate captions for me, and it literally sounds like things that I say. Like, it says y'all and it says LOL in all capitals. Like, those are things that I type on my captions, and I think it's so neat. You guys know how I constantly talk about creative burnout and just burnout in general, so this content creation tool is actually very useful for somebody like me who has a hard time balancing out their time and splitting up their time into different tasks. This takes away a huge bulk of the planning time and research time, especially because they also have a section where you can research viral trends on TikTok and stuff like that. So I think that is also really cool. If you would like to try out Flick's new social media AI assistant, Iris, please check out the link down below, and I will also leave the link here on the screen if you do want to check it out. I think that you guys are going to love this app so much. I have found it to be a vital part of my planning process, and it will just like create a whole content plan for you. Thank you again to Flick for sponsoring this part of the video, and now let's get on with the next stage of the content creation process. The next stage is the filming part. Now this part can be also daunting for some people. Filming short form content in particular has never been my forte because I sucked at the planning part. Once you have the planning part down, this part, the filming and the actual like getting your camera set up and filming the things you're doing, gets so much easier if you start your filming day, or if you have like a filming time during your day, or you have a day dedicated to filming content. If you start that with a plan and you already have your ideas, your content list, the things you want to say, or like a rough thing that you want to say if you're doing a voiceover, that helps so much, and it has helped me make this so much easier and be able to actually make content instead of just ignoring and just thinking that that part doesn't matter. It's just so easy now. I usually have a pre-production checklist, and this will be just some things that I like to run over and make sure I have beforehand to, again, make this process easier. That way I'm not like frantically looking around like, oh my god, I forgot this, or oh my god, my phone is dead. So I like to set up my filming area. Depending on the video that you're filming, you want to kind of set up the area of which you're filming, clean it up if it's a little bit dirty. I have cats, so I'm constantly dusting and wiping things down. Just make sure that it's clean, and if you have certain props that you want to add to it, you can definitely do that. I like to add some things from my business that I sell as products kind of in the background. I also have a lot of like decor and props that I will add into the video, so just kind of giving it the essence of me. I also have some fun like backgrounds. If I'm doing sewing, I just bought a pink sewing mat or a pink cutting mat, and I'm going to use that for videos. And then I actually have like the one that I really use. Those are just things that are optional, but I think that it really adds to the essence of your video and just kind of brings it to life a little bit more, and just makes it stand out when people are scrolling and it'll be like, oh, that's really pretty, let me watch that 15-second video. Then I'll also get my filming device situated. I'll make sure that my phone is charged enough so that I can actually film the video without it dying. I have the iPhone 14 Pro. I also have, or Pro Max, and I also have the iPhone 15. That's my work phone. So I kind of flip-flop between the two. You don't need the newest phone, and you don't need to have two. You also don't need a professional camera. If you have a phone, whether that's an Android, an iPhone, or whatever, as long as you have good enough lighting and, you know, a phone that works on the camera, just make sure that your camera lens is clean. I always like to wipe it beforehand. And I'll tell you guys the settings that I currently have on my phone for like my camera app for filming videos. I currently have record video 4K at 60 FPS. The grid is turned on, my level is turned on, and then I have camera capture at high efficiency. And these settings just, I think, after trial and error, have given me the best video quality for my phone. But of course, every phone is different. Everyone's lighting and room and filming area is different. So adjust your settings based on what you need. But I do think that the grid and the level are very important tools to have on your phone, because I just find that you're able to kind of center what you're doing in the video instead of kind of having it off to the side, because sometimes that happens to me where like I'm doing something and it's not even in the frame. Good lighting is very important. If you don't have access to a window or natural lighting, then try setting up a lamp, or also you could get these little like light diffuser tripod things from Amazon. I will link all the supplies down below if you're interested in checking any of these things out. But I have this set of 3 photo lights where I just kind of set them up if it's very dark or I'm in a room that's really dark, and it will really brighten it up. It also has different things that you can put in to kind of change the hue of the light and the diffusion of the light as well. So they're very portable. They just have a little USB that you plug into the wall. Also, another thing that you might want to have when filming your videos is a good tripod. I have been using this tripod that I'm using actually with my camera for 4 years. I've had this ever since I started my business. They don't sell this exact one anymore, but they have one that is like very similar, so I will link that down below as well. And you want to have the little iPhone attachment as well for it, so that if you're filming content on your phone, you can just kind of like set it up like this. And a good tripod is really useful because you don't want it to kind of like be wobbling over the place, and you don't want to hear it in the background, especially if you need to create content that needs to be quiet if you want to actually hear what you're filming. The next step is to obviously film the content. Here are some key points to kind of think about when you're actually filming. Of course, everybody's content is going to differ. These are just things that help me create my content. And again, every different type of video is going to have different ways that you're filming it, and different clip lengths, and different ways that you kind of are doing things within the video. But these are kind of just some general rules. I suggest to kind of switch up your angles frequently, especially if you're filming a longer video. This just helps keep people engaged for longer instead of just having your camera set up at one angle for the entire video. Try to switch up your angles. This can get really tiring, especially if you're filming a faster paced video, but I think that this has definitely changed the way that people have received my content. And before, I used to be very lazy and would just put my camera in the corner and just film everything and then split the clips up. But I've noticed that with putting a little bit more effort into these videos, switching up the angles, making it higher, lower, side to side, from the front, like that has really helped people stay engaged with my content and actually watch it from beginning to end, and actually, like, you know, keeping their interest a little bit longer. So that's something that you could think about when actually filming. Another thing is to think about what kind of audio you're gonna have and your final product. So if you're filming an ASMR video, I have a lot of examples on my Instagram page, but I do a lot of like ASMR packing, and I've started to do ASMR like behind the scenes stuff. So for those, I have to keep in mind that I'm not putting any audio over them. So I have to be very quiet. I can't breathe super heavy, and I kind of need a quiet space. That's kind of the rule of thumb for me, is any video that I film, I typically stay quiet. This is because then I can repurpose those videos for two different types of videos, one being ASMR and then the other one being something with music over or a voiceover. That way I actually get two pieces of content out of that one filming session. That's also another key, is try to make or repurpose your content. This is kind of touching more into like the editing stage, but keeping that in mind when you're first in the planning stage, second in the filming stage. That way you're able to kind of repurpose your content, create two videos out of one, and then you have two videos to use and you've only filmed one time. After you've filmed your video and you have all the clips that you need, what I like to do is I like to add all of the clips into a folder in my phone. I'll create an album in the Photos app and I will name it whatever the video is. I don't always do this, but I try to remember to do this because it makes the editing process a lot easier, especially if you're filming a lot of videos at once, because then you're able to go in and say, okay, this is my day in the life video, this is my packaging video, and etc, etc, and you can just pull the clips in, and it's just very organized, and it helps drastically, especially when you don't have a lot of time to edit. The editing process is where everything kind of starts to come together full circle, and you start to see your video turn out to be amazing, show-stopping, beautiful. What I use to edit my short form videos is CapCut. I use CapCut on my phone. I also have it on the computer, but I've been having issues lately with uploading clips to the cloud where it takes like 7,000 years. So I've been just editing on my phone, but if you can get it to work and upload the content from your phone onto your computer, I would definitely recommend editing on the computer. I just think it's so much easier, but to each their own. Maybe because I can't see. I just use the free version of CapCut. I don't have the paid version. The free version has all the important features that I need to use, and I love it. Free is good. So when I'm importing my clips, I will import all of them at once, and then I will go in and split up the clips. When I'm filming short form content, I like to keep the pace pretty quick, and I don't like to have long pauses of me not doing anything or like doing any action. So if I am, say for example, making a sticker reel like this video is showing you, I like to split up the clips every time I move to do an action. So at the start and the beginning of an action, so putting the paper on the desk, or pulling the thing out of the machine, or slicing down and like cutting the side of the paper, I will split the clip right when I start the motion and right when I end the motion, and then I'll do that for every clip and then splice them together. And once I've done my rough cutting, I will then watch the entire video and then continue to make cuts and clips and take videos out or put clips in if I see that there's gaps or it doesn't look right or it's not long enough, whatever the case may be. I usually start with my rough editing, just kind of getting all those action clips cut down, and then I will then kind of go in and fine tune anything. Typically I'm more of like an ASMR sound person. I don't really like add music over it when I'm doing more behind the scenes videos, but if you're going to add audio over it, I like to add audio in Instagram or in TikTok. I don't like to add audio from CapCut. If you use a trending audio from Instagram, it has like that little arrow thing pointing like diagonally, and that kind of helps, I think, people find your video and like it push it onto like the explore page or like the reels scrolling tab. So I like to just add my audio in the social app if I'm going to add any audio. But if you're not going to add any audio, you just can like leave it how it is. And I like to export my videos at 4K at 60 frames frames per second. That just helps it stay crisp, because if you export it at 1080p with 30 frames, there was no point of you filming in 4K, if that makes sense. So I didn't even realize that, and I was exporting it in 1080p for a long time and then realizing, why doesn't it look like how it looks when I am filming it? And it was because I was exporting it not in 4K. If you're planning on doing a voiceover for your video, I would suggest to try something new and add your captions in CapCut, especially if you're doing like a day in my life. I think that those fun captions that pop up on the screen and have like fun colors is a good way to captivate your audience and also make it more accessible for people who may not be able to hear the video or not able to listen to the video at that moment. I think that that gives it a little bit more push for it to be on somebody's For You page or Explore page that might want to look at your business or see your content. And there you have it. That is my content creation process. It is pretty simple because I think sometimes less is more, especially keeping something simple. I don't like to add too many things into my process to make it complicated, but I like to have certain key elements in there so that it just helps me go from point A to point B and create many videos at once, because that's typically what I do. I hope that this video helped give you an idea on what a content creation process looks like. There are so many different types of processes to deal with content creation. Some are more simple than mine, some are more complicated than mine. I found that this process that I've created for myself, based off of what I've learned over the 4 years of doing my business, and also what I've learned from watching other videos of other content creators and how they kind of do their content, I think that this works the best for me. And I am by all means not telling you to copy my system, because what works for me may not work for you. But I made this video so that you guys can take inspiration from it and gain some helpful tips, find some new tools that you want to use, and make your content creation process something that you actually enjoy doing. Because before the last couple of months, I hated making short form content, and now that I have my system down packed, I actually kind of love it and look forward to making content now. And I have seen such a growth with my business, my engagement, my sales, by creating content that is meaningful and authentic to my business and targeting people who are in my niche and my target audience. So I am loving it. I am really in the content groove, and I'm so happy that I was able to finally share my process for you guys and talk a little bit about it, because I think that there are some really useful tips that might be useful to anyone during their small business journey, whether you're just starting or you've been in business for many years. There's always more things to be learned as you go through your small business journey. So if you guys liked this style of video and enjoyed the things that I shared, please let me know down in the comments. And maybe if you have some other video ideas that you'd like me to kind of do a tell-all on, or if you have any other things that you would like to learn about, please let me know, because I want to be your small business bestie and help you guys with creating processes that work for you and just helping you guys along your journey, because I just love it. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure to leave a like and maybe consider subscribing so you can be part of the Queenie community and enjoy all the small business content that I share on here. Thank you again for watching, and thanks again to Flick for sponsoring this video, and I will see you all next week. Bye!